What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things.
With Shawn and Andrew.
Today, we're going to talk about, this is probably going to be an interesting conversation. It'll either end in an argument or be a good conversation. I don't know. But the most challenging times in our marriage.
That's right. And you may notice that we're in a different seating arrangement today. And it's a little weird for me, too.
We've been doing a lot of podcasts lately, and I can't keep looking right. I need to change it up. I need some, I need to balance out the muscles here.
All right. Hey, I'm curious, Shawn, from your perspective. If someone's just now listening to this show for the first time, how would you describe our podcast?
An open diary about marriage and why we think it's the best thing out there.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
We started this podcast because I got really tired of reading headlines about divorce and failed marriages and how if you find the right person, it should be easy. And here's the recipe for success. And we just kind of show you guys our lives. We bring in professionals to talk about tips and tricks and hacks to relationships. But we just try to show you that marriage is hard and you have to work at it, but it can also be the most beautiful thing in life.
No, you're the most beautiful thing in life.
No, you are.
I love this show, mostly because it's an excuse to spend more time with you. And the fact that we have greater than 0 listeners is a real benefit as well.
But
That's just a cherry on top.
But less than a few.
But when we talk about things like the most challenging times in our marriage, it's not like a pouty vibe that we're going for. It's more of like hey, we did this hard thing, so we could probably handle whatever next hard thing is coming our way. And also, maybe as we discuss each issue, there's something that you learn or take away from how we navigated that. Either, wow, they did that really great, or wow, they did that really badly. And so if we find ourselves in something like that, we'll do it differently. So that's our hope. And we actually have a blast doing it. We love hearing your feedback. We're grateful for your feedback. Speaking of feedback, we have a comment of the week. This is from ASEC Mimosas 4536, who says,
a second mimosa.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really love the first podcast segment, and I think it's so true. When I think of what is family made and what do Shawn and Andrew do, they create pro-family propaganda. The word propaganda has a negative connotation. Here, I mean it entirely neutrally. Propaganda is any information or media used to promulgate a worldview. There's so much anti-family propaganda out there. And the worst thing is that it's often dressed up as realism when in fact shows either only show a small portion of reality or a distorted form of it.
Exactly. So this is like a diary.
I'm not done yet.
Oh.
We continue. Pro-family propaganda is necessary. We can talk about it on a societal level for sustaining the economy and flourishing, or on a national level for continued American prosperity. But even on a personal level, family confers tremendous values to individuals, value that may not be taught exists today. Not sure about that. It might not otherwise seek out and be benefited by. Wow. I did not actually know, when I asked you that question about our show, I did not know that was a comment of the week.
She seems like a philosophical person.
I like it. Thank you, Mimosas. She also seems like she's down for, a brunch beverage.
Yeah.
Every now and then. Yeah, I do think, the highest correlation between high-performing business people, actually, you probably have a higher correlation of if you're a high-performing father or mother at home, you probably have your professional life in order as well.
Yeah.
And you see all these people talking about, hey, here's how you can buy your next big house or your next big car or go on this big vacation or make big money. And it's like, that's not the best part of life. The best part of life is this.
Yeah.
Making eye contact with your wife, playing with your kids. This is it. So the more we can contribute that conversation, the better. Anyway, now that being the backdrop, we wanted to get real and talk about a lot of the challenging things that we've been through, because It's just an inevitable fact of life that you're going to go through hard seasons.
Before we do that, let's do some life updates. Kids are about to start school, which I'm really sentimental about.
I'm not going to lie. I've been effed up.
I know.
I got all these transitions happening, and I am like an emotional hairball, tangled up and confused.
We are in a phase of life openly where there are so many transitions going on. There's a bunch of transitions at work happening, a bunch of transitions with our kids going to a new school, full-time school, Drew's in kindergarten, a lot of transitions with our homes, like my parents' house being sold and our house and moving and just like new neighbors and like there's so much change happening right now, which can be very, very beautiful, but we're both feeling it. We're also transitioning out of summer, which was such a beautiful time where we traveled the world with our kids. And now we're seeing that like summertime, intimate, intense time with our kids, like kind of changing.
There's certain times during the summer where you're like, I'm ready for summer to be over. But then summer comes to a close and you're like, dang.
Yeah, I really don't want summer to be over.
And I've always been a guy who, throughout life, when there's not enough change or transition, I've created it. I've self-inflicted it.
No way,
But
really?
now all I want is not that. And I just want to like predictably get to wake up and hang with the kids and predictably spend time with my wife and like control the controllables kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I also feel like it feels like a huge transition for us because up until this year, there's always, this is going to sound weird, but there's always been like a baby on the horizon, pregnancy or a baby. And we
can do it again.
No. This is the first year now. Bear is going to go off to a Mom's Day Out program for a couple days a week. And it just really feels like a new phase of life, which is really confusing because you like are trying to find your place in it, but like also very beautiful.
Yeah. So it is kind of a low-key challenging season of life, but we want to talk about some of the real challenging seasons in our marriage and since we've known each other, because you're just inevitably going to have those in your life personally and in your marriage. And I would say maybe it's promised in marriage, but the beauty is that you can actually come out stronger on the other side. And that's my hunch as we go through the next season. That's the fun thing about getting older is you kind of like start stacking experiences, and those experiences give you a different perspective when a new experience comes about and you're like, oh, I've maybe been through something like this and can learn or like predict the ending a little better, where it's like, oh, frick, okay, this is a hard thing. It's going to be some conflict. We're going to have some struggles. But if we're able to push through, it's probably going to be beautiful. So I hope that's what these stories show. And it is never fun to go through a hard season, especially in a relationship, especially in a relationship as close as marriage, because we all know that hard times are consuming and it sometimes feel like things won't get better. But anyway, have hope and take heart because it will. So that's my encouragement, to keep fighting and keep fighting for what matters most. So
first one, we're going to take you back to, so this is outside of marriage as well, but we're going to walk you through what these were and why they felt difficult, hoping to like, you guys can relate to some of them, find hope in some of them, get some, tips and tricks how to get through them.
That's right.
But the first one we wrote on here was when I moved to Nashville, Andrew.
That was a young form of difficult and challenging.
So to paint the picture for you guys, Andrew and I started dating in July of 2013. And I moved to Nashville in October of 2013. So 4 months later, 4 months into dating, I moved from Iowa all the way out to Nashville, enrolled in Vanderbilt, which you were there, kind of went from being this like long distance separated relationship to almost feeling like something very serious, very fast, in very close proximity.
Yeah. And we wanted it that way. We wanted to be serious very fast. But
did we? Because someone freaked out about it.
Okay.
And it wasn't me.
Well, dating Shawn has been so interesting because who has the flexibility at age 22 or 21 to make a move like that? And here I was about to start business school.
Yep.
My 4th year of Vandy. I had 5 roommates. I was playing football, had a full schedule.
You had comfortably laid your foundation in your college, for sure.
Yeah. But this was hard because Shawn said, "Hey, I'm going to move to Nashville." And I think in a failed attempt to set expectations well, sent an email to her saying, "I can't wait to spend more time with you. I'm very excited. I did just want to let you know, don't just move for me." You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, you were having a freak out. Why don't you just finally acknowledge that it wasn't just setting expectations, you were panicking.
it was definitely a step up in the relationship that I'd never really. It was like such a finite decision of like, yes, we're taking things seriously.
Yeah.
And when you're in high school or when you're dating a girl in college and she's just there already, it's not like, yeah, I'm going to uproot my whole life to come be with you. So it was jarring of like, dang, okay, am I as serious about this as she is?
Only 4 months in.
And I also, I'm freaking crazy about you. So
I would hope so.
No, I am currently too. And it's like, don't move your whole life for me because I'm probably going to be a letdown. As you know, I'm still a letdown to this day. But you know what I'm
literally
saying?
what the email was saying though too.
I want you to have good friends. I want you to have family around. I want you to know and if you move for me.
Which I would have none of that.
So the hard time was I sent the email and then Shawn sent a clapback email of like, I'm not just moving for you. We still have these emails, by the way. Pretty hilarious.
And to paint the picture on my side, so Andrew had kind of like laid his foundation in his college and this was very jarring and it was very fast. But on my side, I was blessed with the flexibility to be able to do something like this. I was getting ready to start college. I deferred college for 5 years. Wasn't really sure what I was doing next in life. This is after the Olympics and I was working. I had saved up enough and been kind of like self-sufficient to where I was trying to figure out what my life looked like from here on. I had fallen in love with you. And I just remember having this like realization of, as I'm in Iowa, the best chances of success in figuring out if you and I are going to work long term and like end in marriage or not is to be in the same place. Like long distance was very difficult. I was flying back and forth every other week, just trying to like really get to know each other on like the deepest part possible was very difficult since you were full-time in college and I was just in Iowa. So I said, you know what? I have this flexibility to invest within our relationship. Let's see if I can get into Vandy.
Which you did.
Let's see if I can find a place and find my own world and
which you did.
Separate from everything that I knew in Iowa. And I was like, I'm moving there and I'm going to see if this can work.
How's it working out so far?
I think it worked out just fine. But yeah, it was a ballsy move and it put a lot of strain on us for a little bit because it went from being like this fun thing that would happen on the weekends to being like, okay, how do we figure out how to have a relationship that's only 4 months in and get to know each other further, but yet we live a block apart.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for it. I'm grateful because it forced us to have like a real serious defining the relationship, and it wasn't a situation where you could just like kick that conversation down the road. It was like, okay, yeah, we're serious about it, and then once we were both in, that was really it. It was like we're off to the races.
Yeah,
I mean, we really knew that on our third date, and this was a continuation of that, and it kind of comes in milestones. I feel like, and that was a big one, but I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I will say a big thing that I learned early on in making that decision, and I feel like we've advised friends before in similar positions, whether they were within marriage or seriously dating, is at the end of the day, 50 years from now, if your goal in life is like to be married, and have your significant other with you. And you want to be able to prioritize that over all of the material items around you, your job, your money, your things. Then you have to kind of start practicing that at an early age. And a lot of times people, I think, reverse it. They're like, I'm going to prioritize my work and I'm going to prioritize my career and my dreams now, and then go find the person. And I think if you aren't in the practice of that becomes almost impossible.
Yeah.
So I just remember practicing early on, thinking my end dream and goal is to have a family. And I almost to a certain extent make sacrifices now that.
But there is a maturation that's required
sure.
to be able to do that well. And that's what I'm just continually impressed by you with, is like, you had experienced all of the things in life where you're like, no, that's actually really what I want, is to have a family.
Yeah.
So your maturity there put you on the fast track.
I was 20.
Yeah.
No, I was 21. I was 21.
But so it makes me think that we put that on this list because that was really a make or break conversation that we had.
Yeah.
And that almost ended the whole relationship. In that sense, it was difficult. But I do feel like it's different to say things are difficult versus things are hard. So I'm trying to think what makes a difficult time in marriage. Is it when we're not aligned? Is it when one of us is really struggling? Is it when like some extrinsic thing happens to us? But you know what I'm saying?
I think it's when two styles collide.
Well, I'm curious to see your take on the rest of this list.
Because I truly feel like in that scenario, honestly, I think it has to do with exactly like where we're at in life right now and what we were talking about with transitions. I think anything that goes against your everyday comfortable routine poses a difficult time in your life, because you're like, how are you going to respond to it? How are you going to change to it? It's uncomfortable. It's new. It's scary. And every single thing in my life was changing. Every single thing in your life was changing. And every single thing in our collective relationship was changing. So it was like this explosion of transitions, and we didn't know how it was going to end. And I think in a relationship, if you can get used to dealing with transitions and big changes in life as a team, then it's almost like there aren't many things you can't handle.
It's interesting. The way you described that was like stylistic differences. And I was just thinking about almost like waves, this. And then if we're out of sync with those waves, then these challenging situations, one, are beneficial because they identify places where you're out of sync. And two, provide motivation to get in sync. Just like the moving, hey, are we gonna get serious about this or not? It's like that was an opportunity for us to like, oh, hey, what's your take on this? Or how serious are you? And then let's have this conversation that we didn't know we needed to have. And then bang, like, yeah, no, we're both in sync. And so you're more of a team. And
if you're dating, it very quickly exposes if it's going to work or not.
What, the way you're able to have those conversations? Or because we have much different styles in a lot of different areas of life. But like, I think the way we come back together and mesh those styles is something we do decently well.
I also mean it in the sense of like 4 months was early in our relationship. Like that's an early timeline to make such a big decision. But yet it very quickly exposed if we were both willing to invest more in the relationship.
Yeah.
Like that very quickly could have ended anybody's relationship and been like, okay, great, let's move on to the next one. Let's go see if like this isn't going to end across the finish line. So
yeah, it's good. I think you described that beautifully.
Thank you. Next one. Oh gosh.
Wait, well, hold on.
No.
I'm just adding these to the bottom as they come to mind, the difficult things that we've gone through. The next one on my list is our first year of marriage, 2016. We got married April 2016. And I had just been released by the Seahawks via Twitter. That's how I found out. And I had just gotten picked up the week of our wedding to the Oakland Raiders. And so there's a lot of transitions happening then. Obviously, we're in the middle of our wedding planning season as this is all going on. Then we get married, and the morning after we get married, we had to fly to Oakland for my first practice. And then it was 2016 that the Rio Olympics happened. And so Shawn was in Brazil for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the gymnastics tour happened. And you were on the road for 4 months. And fast forward to September 2016, I got released by the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at home trying to figure out
And I
what
was
to
still
do
on
with
the road until the end of November.
Yes. So when I think of when our styles were most out of sync, that might be the number one season that comes to life.
That was the worst.
You agree?
Yeah. That was the worst.
Say more.
There are just so many things at play there that weren't. We were early on in, obviously, our marriage, brand new. And so I think it was the first realization that marriage is a starting line and not a finish line. So we became married and then set off onto 2 massively new career paths for both of us.
Yeah.
In opposite directions, which was also very new for us. Up until that point, we spent every waking second together. I went with you to your jobs and you went to me with my jobs. That was the first time we went in separate directions. It was also new in our life of like, we were a married family and the roles of like providing and money and paying bills and like taking jobs was an interesting thing. We weren't synced as a husband and wife yet in the sense of like figuring all of our stuff out.
But
And
picture
I was,
this.
yeah,
No, keep going.
I was just dealing with really, I was trying to handle a lot of things on my own that I wasn't telling you about.
Picture this. I'm at home, jobless, sad, nervous about what I'm going to do in life. And Shawn is in sold out arenas in LA in front of 80,000 people with paparazzi and freaking fans and all this stuff. It was like such drastic ends of the spectrum of like, wow, what do you do here? You were very gracious during that. And ultimately, are you okay?
Yeah. I just hated it.
And we heard the analogy before of there's a kite and there's a kite holder at any given time in a relationship. And I realized how fun it is to be your kite holder and to watch you soar and to play that role. So that was pivotal. I'm grateful for that season.
It made me stronger.
Ours has been an exaggerated experience of that. Hey, someone needs to go do their thing or pursue their dream or go do the ambitious part of life or the career part of life. And we were in a phase where we could do that. And that was like such a good foundation to set of like, oh, wow, this is like, I'm going to support Shawn in whatever way I can. And you supported me in a wonderful way. You gave me a 5-year runway to make the NFL when most people have 3 months. And we did the dream, but like, it's kind of been a back and forth of supporting each other in that way. And that was a drastic example of that where, I don't know, maybe just now I'm realizing how much we need to do that in our relationship. but how much I enjoy it.
I feel like for me, it was just a very hard learning experience. Beautiful in the long run, but very hard learning experience of like, I feel like I prioritized everybody, but I believed I was prioritizing our marriage at first, but in doing so, I sacrificed everything. If that makes sense. In trying to protect the marriage, does that make sense? Just, I don't know. It was like after all that whole year, instead of listening to anybody else, I was like, it's just me and my husband now.
I'm grateful. Anyway, so that was 2016.
If you're like me and you want to make some non-toxic swaps for your home, but you don't know where to start, don't want to spend an arm and a leg on every product, and you get confused by the thousands of options out there, Branch Basics is your one-stop shop.
That's right. Honestly, well, let me just show you how this works. Where's our paper towel in here? Okay. Well, look, as someone who didn't know much about the ingredients in typical household cleaners, I was shocked that most of them contain harmful ingredients. And that's what's cool about Branch Basics is that they use only one cleaning solution for just about everything.
Literally, they have one formula that can be used for counters, bathrooms, laundry, dish soap, and hand soap. It can also be used for washing products, cleaning makeup brushes, washing your car, or to give your pets a bath. One non-toxic formula can do all of this, which is amazing.
I like that it's really affordable and sustainable too. And with their refill model, each refill costs only $2.13 per bottle. Once you run out, all you need to restock is the concentrate and the oxygen boost. And one concentrate equals 13 refills. It's really cost efficient.
Ready to clean up your home and your health? Head to branchbasics.com to shop their premium starter kit and save 15% off with code EastFam at branchbasics.com.
That's 15% off your new Branch Basics premium starter kit at branchbasics.com with promo code EastFam. Make the change today because you and your family deserve better.
2017.
I would also say before the miscarriage in 2016 and this whole phase that we just went through of Shawn having retired from gymnastics, but then doing gymnastics and not really being into it like she wanted to be, is what forced us into like figuring out career transitions, and I was jobless. So I started getting into making videos and the hardware and the software and all this stuff and the culture and how do you make a good YouTube video or whatever. And, but that transition career-wise was difficult because Shawn was just trying to make sure that, she was the only one who was earning a paycheck because I was bouncing from team to team to team. What was it, 9 teams in 5 years?
Which I'm so proud of you.
And
don't make that small.
It was like heck of an adventure. And how many friends did we make? And then it ended up being something that we could make YouTube videos out of. So we made lemonade out of lemons. You know what I'm saying? And but I was super into it. And Shawn was like, I'm not that into YouTube. And it's pulling me away from what is earning us money, And so there was tension there. I remember we had one big conversation in the living room of that house. And it was like, just give me 3 months to see if we can make YouTube work.
And I wasn't doing anything in gymnastics anymore by then. I'd really walked away from that. So my career at this time, when we were trying to transition into YouTube, I was doing public speaking. I was working as an ambassador for a bunch of companies. Gymnastics has since been rebuilt by new leadership that I think is absolutely beautiful. And I remember going back to like my first competition and taking Drew with me and like being able to build a new relationship with the sport that I fell in love with that I loved. So, to close that.
Okay, so
now let's talk about the miscarriage.
No. So I was like, give me 3 months for the YouTube thing. Fast forward, now we've been doing it for 9 years. And it worked out, but there was a difference in excitement or trust of moving into the next thing. It's almost like, one of us wanted to take a new job, I guess. that the other one wasn't so sure about.
Yeah.
But we gave each other a finite window, and it worked out.
We had so much fun with it. Wow, this is really taking a turn.
I thought this was gonna be a chill.
I don't know how to edit this. This is really confusing me now. YouTube was a blessing. It was terrifying because in the moment, it was a huge transition. It was almost like all of our security that we had in our like life, as far as like financially, was potentially like up for interpretation. Anything in the reserves was kind of gone for us by then. So this was truly like, are we gonna give up this stable speaking world that I have and try something new, or are we just gonna stick with what we know? And so we gave ourselves a finite time, really dove headfirst into it and fell in love with it. It was something that bonded you and I a lot closer and gave us a lot of joy and freedom to go do what we loved in a whole new world. And I think it ended up bringing our marriage like a lot closer.
Yeah, me too. So then fast forward to fall of 2017.
Yeah.
We got pregnant for the first time. Crazy story. I am bouncing around from team to team to team. Literally that weekend that you found out we were pregnant, you had
3 tryouts back to back to back.
It was Detroit, and then it was New York Giants, and then I think I was going West Coast somewhere.
For like a birthday party or something.
Yeah. And then you were in New York.
Doing a press tour for a show I had just filmed called Adventure Capitalists. I was with a really close friend. He's like a big brother to us, Jeremy Bloom at the time. We were doing the press tour together and I had found out I was pregnant the day we were together when I found out. But you were packing your bags and leaving for the airport for these tryouts. And I snuck away to a bathroom because like it had been a couple of weeks and I was like, what is happening? And I was like, I need to take a pregnancy test. So I found out while we were technically still together in our apartment in LA. And you're literally packing up, walking out the door. And I was like, I cannot tell you now. As you're headed.
I didn't know you found out then.
Yeah.
Wow.
But as you're headed off to these tryouts that mean a lot to you, I can't just like throw this on you. And so I was like, okay, I'll wait to tell you when you get back. But I knew you had these 2 tryouts and then you're going to go do something for fun. And so I had flown off to New York and I was like, okay, when I get to New York, which was a couple of days later, I'll take more tests just to like verify. And I think I took like 6 and all positive. So I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. So then your 2 tryouts had finished. By then I had told Jeremy Bloom, he was the one helping me through it all. He by then had so many nieces and nephews. His dad's a doctor. And we were doing this press tour like 12 hours a day for a couple of days. And I was really sick. So he was like covering my back.
Jeez.
Trying to help, whatever. But I had texted you and I was like, as soon as your tryouts were done, I was like, can you skip the birthday party and come home? I don't remember what ridiculous reason I gave you, but I was just trying to get you home. And all like God's timing, I had finally convinced you to come home instead of going to this birthday party or whatever you're going to. And I told you when I walked in, this is crazy timing the more I think about this.
Yeah, it is.
We had a really, really good cry.
Yeah, we were terrified.
We had no idea what life held for us because this is like not how we were like planning it. And then it was literally the next morning.
Yeah.
I miscarried.
We went to the doctor that day.
Which was so wild because like that was traumatic in itself. I was bleeding a lot. I didn't know how to handle this. I didn't have a doctor there. We're still trying to digest, like, am I pregnant? This is all new. Like, we're young. We're not sure, like, what's going on. Go to the doctor. They confirm I miscarried. And that sparked a really, really hard phase for us. A hard couple months, probably a few months, honestly.
It was hard because you were scared of, are we going to be able to have kids at all? No, we were scared at the idea of having kids
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a big thing in life. It changes a lot. So then that was step one. And then the miscarriage happened. You're like, oh no, did all of my training put me in a spot where I can't have kids now? And then there's that fear. And then it was your excitement about having another kid and trying as soon as we could. And me not really like, I was like, oh, I'm not sure I'm ready. I'm still jobless.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure things out. And you were ready.
It had switched my mind. Like my mind had changed overnight when I found out I was pregnant, to where I was like, I went from being so terrified and so scared of like what that meant to like, I'm a mom and I want to be a mom.
I feel like you became a mom in that process. And I didn't fully, it's different because you're experiencing it in a different way than I am.
Absolutely.
So it took me a little longer to come to that realization. But then it would have been, we didn't try again for another 18 months or so.
At least, yeah. It was a while.
A lot of tough conversations and tears for the months after that, of just trying to get back on the same page, trying to calm those fears that we may have had. And anyway, now we have 3 beautiful kids. Can you believe that?
No.
Put yourself in our shoes in that apartment in LA.
Yeah.
And how we could not see through the fog to the other side. And now look where we are.
I remember, I think we told this story before, but it was a few months after that. We were having a big argument. We were walking down the Santa Monica Strip, like on the ocean. And we weren't like yelling at each other. It was just like tensions were high. I think I was crying. We're still just trying to figure out, trying to respect each other in like the phase of life we were in, of knowing we can't have a kid or try for a kid if we're not on the same page, but when is that going to be and how are we going to get there? And I was just very still emotional, just trying to process it all. And there was a homeless guy sitting, like I think against a tree, and he must have been watching and like listening, but in like the kindest way. I remember him just like saying, just love each other in like the most beautiful way.
He's like, nothing in life's that serious. Just love each other and be there for each other.
And I remember it like switched things for us.
It was really
immediately.
Like
it was so great.
It was an angel.
It was an angel. It probably was.
Wow.
But he stuck with us for a long time. I mean, to this day.
Yeah. What was hard in 2018?
Nothing. Comparatively speaking.
I feel like 2018 was a growing point financially for us, because we moved, because we said, well, let's get ready to have a kid. So let's buy a house that we can have kids in.
And we bought a house that we could not afford.
No, that's not true. We just learned some lessons there.
We've had some massive financial strain.
No, we just put ourselves in an unnecessary place.
Yeah.
And again, we're in a spot where like we knew it'd be okay. It was just getting there. But then I feel like maybe I'm missing something, but I'm trying to think through this chronologically difficult times. I do feel like after each kid that we've had, that's been difficult seasons.
Just a big transition. I think after Drew, it was hard because we went from being, just us to having a kid. So trying to work through what does life look like with another little person in our lives, and trying to figure out the new identity shifts of going from husband and wife to mom and dad, which was such a blessing. But just trying to figure out what life looked like. And then after Jet, it was like grieving this idea of like not being able to spend every waking second with just Drew. And what does life look like for her now? And are our hearts going to grow big enough to have 2? And what does life look like that? And then after Bear, I do think there was postpartum depression with Bear, which was hard. And it has nothing to do with the child, by the way. That it's not like it had anything to do with Bear. Bear was the greatest blessing of our life. It was just like hormonally, I had a really hard time bouncing back from birth and mentally trying to like find myself again. that put a strain on our relationship, just trying to figure out, I think Andrew trying to figure out how to help and try to like guide me back to being my normal self and take care of 3 little humans at the same time.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of acclimating that needs done. And it's like a new kid changes. It's not adding a kid. It is changing the entire group dynamic of the family. And so, I don't know. Some people said that, going from 1 to 2 was hard, but 2 to 3 was easy. Every kid for us was like big transition. So, yeah, I guess we're also talking about here with this whole list, like long periods of time.
Yeah.
Like a month or so
At least.
of difficulty. After kids, we've always said like 4 months for the first kid, 5 months for the second, 6 months for the third. We felt like we were vibing again fully. I mean, it's just, hey, oh my gosh, you're
getting a new routine and like rhythm.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about summer snacks. Because if your family is anything like ours, you're constantly on the move this time of year, doing pool days, park days, road trips, t-ball games, you name it. That's why we are obsessed with Chomp's meat sticks. They are the ultimate grab-and-go snack. You just toss a few in your bag and you are set. There's no refrigeration needed, no melting, no sticky fingers, just real, high-quality protein that keeps everyone fueled and happy.
Our whole family is huge fans of Chomp's. Our kids love the original beef flavor, and I always reach for the jalapeno beef. It's just got that perfect little kick. And Shawn and I were actually just arguing the other day over who got the last one before we reordered them.
I won, if you were wondering. Each Chomp stick has over 10 grams of high-quality protein, 0 sugar, and is made with ingredients you can actually recognize and taste. I'm talking 100% grass-fed and finished beef and venison, antibiotic-free turkey, and real herbs and spices you can actually see in every bite. High quality.
Shawn and I are both pretty health conscious with our kids, and it's a snack that we both feel good about handing to them. Plus, we eat it ourselves. So, if you're trying to keep your family full without the mess or sugar crash, Chomp's has your summer snack game covered. Grab a few and thank me later.
Get 15% off plus free shipping on your next order of Chomp's meat sticks at chomps.com with code Shawn.
Again, that's code Shawn for 15% off plus free shipping at chomps.com.
Okay, one more.
Okay, you do it.
Dad. Our first real, I feel like we obviously had a loss with a miscarriage and felt that, but our first really hard grief was when we lost your father. That was really hard. I don't think that put a strain on our marriage or was hard for our marriage. It was hard as a couple to know, me as your wife, it was hard for me to know how to best support you and also grieve on my own and together.
You did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
That was hard. I mean, it's still hard. That was a big transition back to the group dynamics changing. The group dynamics are still different.
Yeah.
So
very.
But I don't feel like there's ever been fortunately, I don't think there's ever been a pouty phase of wow, we're really knocked off our feet here and incapacitated. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like the way, I hate to compare this, but I feel like my technique in that process was very similar and learned by you of how you handled me after each kid. And that's a weird way to parallel to make, but with you, all I wanted to do was be there for you. But in doing that, I almost, not in a creepy way, it was watching you day in and day out to make sure that you were okay and make sure you didn't dip too far down into grief or depression or to where you weren't coming back out. It was just always trying to take these markers day in and day out of how is he handling this? I would ask you little questions. I would try to make you laugh, and we would watch funny movies, and we would talk about Dad and look at pictures and say beautiful things. But it was always just this gauge as a wife of where is he today? And it's okay to have a bad day, but are we staying in the bad day? Is it now 5 bad days in a row, or
Yeah.
when to bring in other people? There were harder days that you would have where I would reach out to one of your brothers and say, I think today's a really good day to call Andrew, and vice versa. I mean, you guys were doing that for each other, or one of your best friends. And
Yeah. I'll use this as an example that I can then parlay into closing thoughts. But what I am very grateful for is through that whole process of grief and the first shock that comes with it, I think my first inclination and instinct was to journal or to write or to record the stories that I was hearing from all these people about, hey, your dad and I played high school football and you won't believe this, or I went to college with you. And I wanted to write them all down so I didn't forget them. And then we got put in a position where we wrote the obituary, we wrote the eulogy. And so there was a lot of communication.
mm-hmm.
And I feel like my natural instinct when it comes to hard times or something that I did that I'm shamed about, or a mistake I made, or shoot, how am I going to make it through this? I get all heady and I get all tied up in here, and that forces me to isolate myself and to not communicate, including with you. That's been something I've really had to work on, is like, no, I need to open this up and share this and talk about it. But just like with my dad, the communication that then led to, I don't know, there's something about forming words, whether it's written or spoken. There's something about reflecting. There's something about creating in the midst of that turmoil that I think carries over into any challenging season, where it's like, as we've gotten better at going through challenging times, it's because our communication has gotten better. And I just read this book called Fighting Shadows. And it's about how men do have this tendency to isolate and to turn inwards and to like cut themselves off when they're going through the battle. And it's like, you need to push against that and swim upstream against that. Because when we were at our worst, I feel like it was you wanting to connect through hard times, you wanting to communicate and get closer, and then you would move towards me and I would move away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that causes conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you start telling yourself stories about, well, does he love me, or why is she like this right now, or I just want space. And it's like, no. That's where I think using these challenging times as a canvas to communicate and get better and connect in a deeper way, it's so possible because of these things, not in spite of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, these challenging times, whatever that looks like for you, it's like, oh, well, they're challenging because they put you outside your comfort zone, or it was a big transition, or it brought you shame. It's like, those are all things that if you share with your wife, this is what I'm learning. If I share those with my wife, then now she knows, oh, he has shame about that, or this makes him uncomfortable, so I can support him in this and maybe even push him a little bit. I don't know, dude. It's like looking at that list. We've learned a thing or two, dude.
We have. Just getting better too.
9.5 years.
Yeah. Of marriage.
Yeah.
I don't know if you will take anything away from this except for
there'll be some long, awkward pauses of tears. But it's good.
Oh, you can cut those out.
No, it's good. Just remember, there is a season for everything, and seasons come and go. So if it's a good one, relish it. If it's a bad one, it's coming to an end. 2, you're a team through it, and you can get better. 3, give each other space or how you stylistically process the different hard times differently. 4, I feel like it is easy in hard times to tell yourself lies. What?
Absolutely.
I'm saying like the miscarriage thing, the lie of
Mhm.
like, oh, we'll never be able to have kids. It's like, don't project or construct this false narrative.
That's why you need to communicate with someone.
Yeah. And yeah, now looking on the other side, largely I'm grateful for these things. I'm grateful
Me
to
too.
have you to go with them.
Grateful for you, baby. It's only made us stronger.
Thanks for listening. That was not what I expected it to be.
Same.
That's all we got. I'm Andrew.
I'm Shawn.
Out.